Never ready. Hello everyone, Nachiket Phadke this side and welcome Ashish Joshi
Thank you.
to Heroes of Engineering podcast number 3. Technically recorded one is the third session. One of the DRDO scientists, Mr. Kashinath Devdar came, but we didn't record his podcast because it was not in a podcast form.
Right.
But then we thought it should get recorded. So this is our third session where we are going to discuss about skilling, industry gaps.
Right.
We will talk about Ashish's journey and various learnings which he actually is going to share with us. Okay. So welcome Ashish.
Thank you.
Welcome back
Thank
to
you so
Eleno.
much. Thank you.
So he was long associated with Eleno for skilling some years back.
Yeah.
But now the trends have changed and the Heroes of Engineering platform is where we are inviting engineers. So technically Ashish is a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
And that's why I can always invite an engineer with full heart. And I'll be starting with a very simple question about first day of your work
Right.
as a fresher.
Right. So I'm originally a mechanical engineer. So good morning to all of you first. And so I'm originally a mechanical engineer from MIT Kothurud. Then I worked with Tech Mahindra for about 10 years. Through campus I got placed, but I always had a plan to go to US and do my masters. So I did my masters in industrial engineering from Ohio State University. And then post that, those were the days 9/11. So the jobs were really at premium. So, but fortunately I got into the areas of ERP. So enterprise resource planning. So SAP is most common name that we always hear, but there are many other, so Oracle apps, or there are lots of other custom ERPs, those are available. So combination of a bit of IT background, because I work with Tech Mahindra, and combination of my industrial mechanical engineering background. So I got into the materials and production planning modules of ERP. And so about 7.5 years post that I worked in US, so till about 2008, 2009 time. So I spent roughly 10 years in US. 2009 I decided to move back, and so me and my wife, we both decided to move back. And then 2009 onwards, it was logically a step in career where whether I should continue working in the same field which I was enjoying. I mean, it wasn't a problem, so as to say. And in fact, when I moved back to India, I got into KPIT as well. So I had a placement offer, and so that was the time when actually I give credit to my father-in-law for sure. So he told me that this is the right time if you want to do something of your own, which we always had a conversations on. This is the right time for you to decide on that, take the right step. And so long story short, 2009 onwards, I am into coaching, training, mentoring. I have my own organization. I have a small team. I have a set of associates and trainers and coaches who work with me as well. So that's briefly the background. So talking about the first job that you mentioned. So the real first job, first day was at Tech Mahindra. It used to be called as Mahindra British Telecom at that point of time,
correct.
MBT. And fortunately or unfortunately, you know that Sharda Center office, right? So our batch was the first ever batch or group of people to occupy that office. Okay, that is long back in 1999. And so the first day, I remember, on a lighter note, is it was extremely cold because it was centralized AC and there were only 10 or 12 of us occupying the office. But on the other hand, I came from mechanical engineering background, and so obviously there were training programs and lots of training programs related to obviously software programming languages and all that. But along with that, there were specific sessions on transition to professional life. And so specifically talking about first day, I mean not really first day, but first week or first month, if we really talk about it, there was a lot of adjustment in the sense that it could be as simple as following the time, right, which is most common to us. In student life, sab kuch chalta hai, that we know, but following the time, you are accountable. So even in the training phase, you are accountable to finish certain tasks, certain milestones that you have to hit. The training program was quite quite extensive for about 3 months or so. But then the first step is accountability, that I think you
So discipline and accountability are
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
two important
And so
things.
a very simple practical way to look at it is the company is paying you, right? Even if they are training you, they are paying you. So if they are paying you, you are supposed to take care of your responsibility. You are supposed to. So even accountability, the term that we use. So because I am a trainer and a coach, so many times to all my clients, I tell them that responsibility and accountability, whether it's same or not. Okay, and so simple difference that I tell them is accountability. The word itself has the word accounts.
Right.
It means there is money or monetary portion involved, which means if someone is investing time, effort into you, you are supposed to give them ROI. You can look at accountability as simple as that. Okay, so I think for all of us as engineers, it is very important that we are accountable to the job, the profession, the profile. If the company is paying us, we are accountable to make sure that the company makes money out of whatever that we are doing. So I think one of the biggest learning lessons that I carried from there. Obviously then about year and a half I left that job, went to US and did my masters. So in US the first job that I had, as I mentioned, it was 9/11, and so obviously the job market was very tough. No one wanted to hire international students. So I got into a very small company, about 10-11 employees that they had, and they were developing their own ERP solution for specifically for mechanical fastener industry. And so none of them understood the difference between nut, bolt and screw. I mean, even they'll say nut and screw is same. Okay, it was as same as that. So then they said, no, we want someone who understands both the side of it. So it was a good start over there. And so on that job, the first thing that I maybe learned, or I realized that what I need to do is working with people around you, which is in college terms, it's really a casual attitude. They are all your friends. Even when you talk about a project, generally the friends get together and do some project. But when you are in a professional situation, it's not necessarily that everyone is a close friend. You may or may not understand the type of skills, strengths, or type of aptitude that they carry, the type of maybe even experience that they carry. So it's a good idea when you step into professional world to understand the people that you are going to work with. And this is just on a skill or strength level that I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm a NLP coach and practitioner, so which is applied psychology in very simple terms. Psychology, I haven't even talked about it. People come from different thought processes, they are built differently. The behavioral skill set that they have is completely different.
Everyone carries a past as well.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
That's where there will be a different kind of a molding with every single person.
Absolutely. So the behavioral traits as well as the skill or the strength set, what they carry, ability to get understanding of that situation, ability to probably put yourselves in the role in such a way that you can collaborate, you can probably leverage the skills or strengths better. So even interesting point that we were talking about, especially in early career, when we talk about you are new to everything, and we were just having that conversation, so I'll bring that point up right here, is about choosing the right kind of person to look up to. In very simple terms, we call mentor. Right? But then choosing the right kind of mentor, the right kind of person who will keep you, not just, so mentor generally we think that one who will handhold you, one who will show you direction and all of that. That is right. I agree on that. But most importantly, mentor is a person, I guess, who will keep you grounded. I really think like that. So they have seen probably in their own careers as well, ups and downs, and then usually when they share something, it's not only that do A, B, C, D, there is a lot of story or a lot of experience behind it. I think your ability to take the most out of your mentor by asking them, what do you mean by that? Just not blindly follow it. I think that is another. So you have to open your mind. The things as they look, there is a lot that goes on behind it. not just mentor point of view, but generally organization point of view as well.
Correct.
Okay, any size organization that you are going to step into, especially fresher or early career, you might take time to get adjusted to the organization culture, as we say. You might have to take a pause and understand what goes on in the organization, maybe, and I'd say in a good sense, okay, not in a bad sense. So मराठीत आपण नेहमी म्हणतो ना की जसा राजा तशी प्रजा.
Correct.
So most of the companies are driven by their customers.
Owner, not customer.
Right? So customer is always king, as we say. Whatever they want, the organization start aligning. So I'll not name the company, but I have worked with couple of companies earlier. I was doing some consulting with them in Pune. So Tata Motors, they were one of the biggest suppliers to them. And then Tata Motors, in fact, used to control their costs and profits as well, because they would say 3% is enough, right? And so in such scenario, you can imagine if you are working for the supplier company, you have to follow certain protocols. I mean, it's not even the managing directors in their hand, because their customer, who is king, who is controlling everything, so you better follow it, right? So ability to understand the circumstances, ability to find the right kind of mentor, ability to maybe have the right kind of questions in your mind, so that it develops you, it grows you in a particular way or particular direction. So I think a couple of things that I mentioned that I really felt they were very important in terms of my professional growth, if I can say.
Like a start of journey will be more to do with discipline, accountability, and choosing right kind of a mentor.
Right kind of mentor.
Or even because you may not have a choice to choose your own team. That's
Correct.
for sure. You are
Absolutely.
a fresher, you are part of a team. But coming back to the engineering part, where this team part I will take care of. Engineers are not the artists who can work alone.
Correct.
They always have to work in teams.
Correct.
So how will you actually explain how one can be a team player?
Right. So as I was mentioning, when you call a team player, it has two dimensions to it, and there could be more, but we'll focus on the two main ones. So one is skill set and the other is mindset, that I always say. So skill set is something that on your own you can probably do some courses, continue to learn. So imagine in our company's context it would be, and so from what I know we might have evolved as well, but imagine learning LS Dyna or Hypermesh or something. It's just the first step, it's a skill set step to it. But working with the skill set, you need the right kind of mindset. Okay, so mindset in the sense that where does this entire thing fit into, or whether something that I'm learning, where is the application of that? You should have questions like that, which makes your probably the learning journey more pinpointed or more targeted.
So finding a purpose why I am actually acquiring these skills.
Exactly. And so the mindset, as I was mentioning, it is always about, and you may not have all the answers, but again I'll go back to that. There are peers, not necessarily mentors all the time, but there are peers. There are people who have just maybe couple of years ago or 1 year ago been through the same situation. So not necessarily mentors, but you have to rely upon them. So building a team around you, which roots for your own success, I think. And I know for the sake of it, everyone says that, but it's a journey. It's sometimes you have to take a step back. Sometimes you have to probably figure out who's the right person who probably pushes me more to do better. Sometimes probably you have to figure out that maybe I'm kind of not fit into a particular set of maybe friends, if I can really call it. Then probably it's your own initiative to make sure that you find the right kind of people to associate with. See, we always hear this term, right? So you are sum total of the top 5 people that you regularly associate with, right? And so fortunately for us, we have ability to choose who those 5 players or 5 people are. And so talking about teamwork, obviously I only talk from our engineers point of view, but just put it across the other way around as well, right? Where why should someone continue to mentor you? Why should someone work with you? There is always what's in it for me question, right?
So it's more to do with first part of team player is going to be the ability to learn
Correct.
as a team player.
Correct.
Because you have to learn and then make sure that you are adopting it and moving forward.
Correct.
The second point can be like what you said right now is, are you focusing on your own success?
Correct.
And if everyone is focusing on own success at the same time focusing on team, then
Correct.
I think the entire team will be a
Correct.
success story.
And
in the
then
organization.
early career, I think you have opportunity or ability to experiment, if I can use
Correct.
that word, little bit. So something that works for me, something that doesn't work for me, I think you still have a lot of options that you can explore. So imagine 15 years into a career, you really don't have
Absolutely.
an option to go back and reinvent everything.
Correct.
But early career you can. So talking about, then again, going back to the teamwork, if we really want to talk about, it could be as simple as just think whether I want to really change the team altogether. It's fine, it's fair enough, because it's see, as we say, it's always about compounding, right? So the first few things that you learn, you are going to build onto that. If the foundation is not right, then it's not
Absolutely.
going to help 10 years down the line.
So, as a skilling expert, I can call, for early career guys, what is your suggestion when it comes down to switching teams or switching companies also?
Correct.
Is there a guideline? Is there something which you should be looking after that? Okay, I want to switch an organization, but do I have solid reasons to switch?
Correct.
Or shall I just switch because of salary? Shall I just switch because of non-working team? Shall I just switch because of I got bored? So how exactly we should quantify it? Is there kind of a rule book or any experiences you have?
Sure.
Just
So
try and like-
I think I'll just address the cat in the bag first, which is, should I switch for the salary reasons? And I have nothing against it. If you really have a specific reason to just switch the job for salary, go ahead and do it. I mean, I absolutely say that. So a real example that I can share. Imagine your family has recently bought a flat. Okay, first family, maybe home, and you really want to help your father because you are still paying EMIs. So forget about everything else. It's the priority that you have, and you really want to do that. It's okay, absolutely okay to switch job for the salary reason. But not every situation is this situation, right? So then switching the jobs, I really think one of the main reasons is, as an engineer again, right? So that hunger, I mean, when you stop learning something at a particular position, I think that should be the top priority, where you switch, you make a switch, you kind of try to upgrade yourself. Okay, so on a lighter note, okay, and I don't mean anything against any government organization, but we all have been to different government banks, right? What happens is, a particular person sitting at a chair for 20-25 years, same job, same role, 25 years. What happens is, even your mind kind of gets settled, you don't even want to do something like that. So we all are built like that. When there is a comfort, you settle into that, right? And as an engineer, I think it's our responsibility that we are the people who are going to bring new technology, new development. It's our responsibility to make sure that things evolve in the right direction. Imagine every engineer settles down in what they like, and nothing's going to happen. I sincerely think so. So when the challenge stops, then I think it's the right time to switch. It's the right time to start exploring newer opportunities. People even many times ask me whether it's a good idea to get into, it's a corollary question, so I'll just address it over here. Whether it's a good idea to get into an established organization or a startup. Right? And it's another way to evaluate. See, in a startup, if your focus is on learning, then you will get plenty and plenty. I mean, something that you ask for 10 times of that, you will get opportunities to learn. Startup, even though they have roles kind of defined, you literally have to work across every department, right? So maybe there are not enough people, not enough structure. So even though you are hired as an engineer, you might have to still do accounting. Okay, I mean, I'm just making a very loose connection, but with an established organization, the exposure to different things is limited, but I think you have ability to go in depth of a particular concept, because every opportunity to learn, every tool that you require, it could be made available to you, right? So in this case, and again it's a generalization, so what do you aim for? I think based on that you should decide. So you are trying to get into a depth of a particular specialization. So earlier, as you were mentioning, neural networks or physics informed neural networks. So it's such a very
niche
particular niche field. I mean, for him, I think it's a very good idea if they get into a very well established company like
Absolutely.
TCS. See, there is a logical example or clear cut connection that we can see over there. Even I really admire what you have done. So we know each other for 12 years now. Is you stuck to sitting systems and even
Vehicle
the crash
crash,
testing, vehicle analysis. You stuck to that. Ideally, you could have probably done even product design, or you could have ventured into many domains, right? But then the depth of it. So you figure out an organization or an opportunity when you want to get into a depth of it. Okay?
Correct.
Probably startup will give you better exposure, maybe newer technologies. Probably depth maybe not as much because time, obviously time is a resource that is a premium. You may not be able to get into depth of things. Probably there could be funding pressure. So people who have invested demand certain results.
That's how the startup ecosystem typically works.
Exactly. So I think it's a ability to evaluate, ability to put together what your priorities are.
Correct.
That would
So when
dictate.
you are switching, you can have priorities listed down. As you mentioned, money can be one priority.
Correct.
At the same time, stability is another word which is coming down.
Correct.
Because we see a lot of jobs getting threatened by some new emerging or disruptive trends.
Correct.
And people, just because they want to switch because of money, they switch.
Correct.
And then that particular job role is non-existent in 6 months or 1 year time.
Correct.
Then they are back to square one.
Correct.
So if that kind of a case is there, how are we going to mitigate or understand
Correct.
first hand? So is there any kind of a marker where switching is really necessary? I can say that yes, switching is now necessary, and I can hold for some time with the organization and then switch. So
Okay. So marker not necessarily because again your priorities dictate everything.
Correct.
And then I mean again as a coach I always say that saying this line is very easy. Priorities dictate, but then how do you figure out priority is, I think I always recommend that it should be a continuous evaluation journey for yourselves. I mean, we get into a routine, we get into a job, we continue to work and operationally you are busy all the time, and it's fair enough. But I think there should be a point, maybe 6 months, 1 year in your career, every 6 months to 1 year, that you literally sit down, evaluate. So whether it's going in right direction or not, whether I wanted where I'm actually placed there or not. And then switching jobs is not like you got a new job, right? It's a process. It will take
Absolutely.
time. So it's not as if I decided I switch and I go to another company. So there is still going to be some lead time involved into that as well. But I think biggest pointer that I can give you is at certain interval, you can decide 6 months or 1 year, or to make it very simple, I suggest some of my coaching clients that 15th August and 26th Jan is very easy to remember. You have a holiday, so as to say, right? So you sit down.
Almost exactly 6
months apart. So literally sit down, evaluate whether it's going in right direction or not. If you got the answer, great, wonderful, I am enjoying, no problem. You just continue. Okay. Otherwise, you need to start doing something about it. So switching, as you were mentioning, I think most importantly, it's for us to evaluate what is my priority. Priorities can change as well. So I'll give you a real example. Okay, I always have a lot of stories and examples. We might run out of time today, but it's fine. So recently, one of my so he is only about 26, 27. And so really charged up. He has MTech from IIT Powai and all that. Really charged up. He really wanted to work in technology and all of that. And I recently met him. He is one of our badminton mates. Okay, we play badminton regularly. So he said, I have a pressure from home now, especially that I should find a job which pays me well because अभी मेरी शादी होने वाली है. Okay, so imagine. I mean, there are factors like that which is no one's control. अच्छी सैलरी होगी तो then after 2 years I'll decide what I want to do. It's fair enough. मैं तो वही बोलता हूँ कि practically look at things. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's okay, and that's why that I think evaluation, that pause, that audit.
So
if we can use.
self-evaluation, can you give some tips to young engineers to evaluate themselves? How
Sure.
can, see, there will be a KPI in organization.
Sure.
There will be some indexes which will be given to them, that okay, out of 5 you have performed 3.4, whatever.
Correct.
But is there something which an individual should look at? How
Sure.
to do an evaluation? No? Simple tip maybe.
Correct, absolutely. So there are some internal factors, there are some external factors as well. So because you mentioned the rating and all of that, every organization does annual compensation reviews, and so there is clearly an indication from your immediate boss that how you are doing. So that is an external evaluation. So, and in that probably some things could be beyond your control, because the internal politics in an organization could play some role. Not necessarily at a fresher level, but as you start going up, it could play certain role. So you might think I have done everything required for a promotion, but as you start going up, there is only one position and 3 eligible people. Then the boss has to make the decision who gets the promotion. So not necessarily in your control. So that could serve to be kind of an external evaluation parameter. What does your immediate boss or a manager is telling you? Something which could be your internal evaluation mechanism as well, right? So at this moment, so all the parameters that you mentioned, and you literally could create an Excel sheet. Okay, it's absolutely okay, because then putting qualitative and quantitative
So Excel
analysis,
is not just for office use. Excel,
absolutely not.
Excel for personal use is also okay.
You can absolutely, and in fact you can build decision making on top of that as well. So in fact I can share a couple of very interesting decision making tools with you as well. So when you put everything in together, so if you compare scores, you might have a surprise answer out of it. So some of the parameters that we talked are clearly internally evaluating. So one could be salary, one could be maybe shift if you are working into, one could be the company and how they are performing. I mean, if you see that the management had changed, it's not going in a right direction, maybe as we were talking about earlier just now, the new generation is taking over that company, succession is happening, and it's not going probably well. Probably one of their top 1 or 2 customers have left them. There are lots of such parameters which will put your own, I think, position in jeopardy over there. So that could be, there could be factors like that. There could be even factors like really that you think that you have ability to probably do masters, or you want to really specialize into something that really motivates you. So this is the right time to probably do more of upskilling educationally or otherwise as well.
Or maybe somebody wants to change from a pure technical role to techno managerial role.
Absolutely.
Or techno commercial role. There are cases where people switch to sales after some time of having a knack of it.
Absolutely. So internal evaluation will also tell you whether, I mean, as an engineer, so an engineer who is sitting in front of you, you can imagine, and even now I have about 26 years of experience overall now, okay, professional experience. Even now when people meet me, they say abhi training karna tha to engineer kyun bane? Okay, I still get asked that question. But the basic engineering that we learned, it never goes away. Okay, so the type of clients that I deal with, so many times I close a client because I'm an engineer. Okay, because they say
and especially a mechanical engineer.
Exactly. So I work with AR regularly. I work with Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers. I work with SBEM, that company that I was mentioning. yahi pe unka office hai. I work with Electronica manufacturing wale jo group companies hai, high tech machines and all of those. So a lot of manufacturing companies, and obviously ability to talk their language is one of the biggest advantages, right? Anyway, coming back, the point that I was making, you might realize at a later stage that probably combination of certain skill sets is really what motivates me. So I'm not probably built for pure technical engineering, but I want to get more into applied part of it. So one simple example that I could think on top of my head is technical marketing as an example. So technical marketing means the person has to understand the technology. It's not sheer pure marketing where you go and do a pitch and sell something. It's not that. So imagine यहाँ पे real world scenario देखते हैं. Imagine if I'm here to sell, Nachiket sir, some maybe software, okay, and I'm purely from MBA background. I have no idea how mechanical engineering or crash testing or how seating systems work. He will ask me only one question and the discussion is done.
Over.
Right?
Correct.
Probably imagine if he asks me, I'm just making something up, but imagine
technical question.
failure rate kitna hai, and I'm even worried what does even that mean, right? So technical marketing is logically an area where they require people. I mean, सिर्फ जाके बात करो, sell something is one part of it. So explore alternative careers like that, which will you have to do the introspection. Yeah. You have to come up with what you have built. Certain times, in fact, it happens that during engineering we do not have enough exposure to
Correct.
other areas.
I was coming to that point.
Exactly.
But that's good. No, go ahead.
So, and later on, as you join an organization, because you are put in a certain team, certain situation, certain client, you kind of start building up or refining certain skill set which is complementary to your technical skill set. Okay, yeah. So the previous example.
A direct question to you would be based on this part is, as an NLP professional, you are already in NLP, how do you look at this particular area of not just switching but exposing your own self to make sure you are becoming a newly transformed or new type of a person?
Correct.
So how will you have that kind of a problem addressed?
Correct. So see, again, the audit point that I was raising could give you some pointers clearly. So out of that maybe evaluation phase or introspection phase, you could come up with one new skill that I want to learn this year, and one technical, one non-technical. It could be as simple as that. These days, lot of courses are available, lot of resources are available. Forget about courses. Even
there is an information overburden now.
It is actually. But you need focus.
Correct.
So you need to decide what's my next target or priority, or what is that skill that I want to really upskill myself on. Okay. In fact, as I was saying, it could happen that as part of your profile or role, you kind of are put into a particular role.
Correct. I was telling you that situation.
Exactly.
That you were not in a position to choose your own skilling area.
Correct.
You were supposed to have that skill because the organization demands or the work demands it.
Exactly.
So how are we going to tackle it?
So on the job you can learn, but if you put some practical or rather foundational knowledge to it, the technical knowledge to it, in any area, technical doesn't mean only engineering. So even for marketing, 5 P's of marketing you should learn, not just get into and start talking something about it. So the technical foundation to any job or role that you are performing, it's always going to be very helpful. And I definitely think we as engineers, we have ability to apply what we learn to the practical scenarios, which is not commonly taught. So on a lighter note, as we always say, right, the engineers always figure out jugaad.
Correct.
Right, we know how to get things done, but it's a good thing. Imagine you have a strong foundation that you want to use to figure out something. We'll always come up with 10 different ways of doing it. And so any skill that we want to learn, create a foundation to it, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it's communications, whether it's interesting point that we were just talking earlier, networking, right?
Yeah. So exposure, I'm going to just give it a pause to you.
Sure.
Exposure, when I'm talking about exposing our own self, either as a young professional or as a student. Let's say I'm third year, second year student, I will have to think about first important point which you mentioned was to make an evaluation of our own self.
Correct.
That where I really want to get exposed.
And regularly.
So
audit is regular. It's not one time.
And the next part is you will have to link it to the mentorship.
Correct.
Because there will be too many resources available.
Absolutely.
Not all resources are credit worthy or trustworthy.
Correct.
Most of them are marketing oriented.
Correct.
And some of them are really good, but they are not getting marketed enough. So you may need some or the other mentor who is going forward for it.
Correct.
So auditing, mentoring, that's one of the form of exposure. And the third one which now you are talking about is the networking. So you can now elaborate where the exposure is going
And
to
so
be.
all these things, in fact, auditing, mentoring, networking can go together as well. So
Correct.
mentoring, when you are mentioning, just another point that came to my mind, it's not necessary mentor has to be from your organization
Absolutely.
or your contact sphere. And that's where I think third point of this networking comes into picture. Even for me, or even for I think even
Everyone.
the syllabuses that we have never been taught how to network. Okay, so if I ask a question, open-ended question to someone, what is networking? So meeting as many people as you can. And it's a very wrong way to look at it, right? It's not about volume, it's about quality that you are able
So it's
to
getting
build the network.
cough and cold very fast. right?
Exactly, exactly.
Meeting too many people.
Exactly. So in audience, in fact, I have a couple of my friends today, so who are masters of networking as well. So networking is about quality. Networking is about figuring out or filtering out who are the right people that you want in your circle. I always share this, and it would be a very important, I think, point for you to maybe remember when you are networking. So as I was mentioning, networking is not about volume, it is about
Quality.
trimming down, it's about quality. So recently I came across, I was reading something and I came across a formula, a theorem, whatever you want to call it. It's called as Dunbar's number. Okay, and it's actually there.
Dunbar's number?
Dunbar.
Okay.
Dunbar. So Dunbar's number. And so this scientist, if I can call him, Dunbar's postulate, or he says that humanly it is possible to maintain only about 140 relationships, which are the top level relationships. Okay, top. So it doesn't mean you can't be friends with others. It's something really the top of, I mean, all 140 people, they are really close to you. And so not exact 140, he says 140, but 10-15 idhar udhar, you can consider that. But imagine if we have this limited number at our disposal, typically half of that number is our friends, family, close family. So Indian marriages we know, वहाँ पे तो कितने लोग आते हैं, उसमें से सारे तो नहीं है हमारे relevant, but फिर भी at least 60-70, half of that number is already done.
Correct.
Right, which are not necessarily relevant to our career or career aspirations or professional growth, not necessarily.
And you don't have a choice to choose them, right? So
exactly,
they are there.
Exactly. Otherwise, in every marriage, you keep hearing from someone, "Pehchana kya?" Right? We have no answer to that. So anyway, so about half of those go away. Then imagine if you are working in an organization in a particular team, right? So maybe depending on obviously team strength or team size, but 10, 15, 20 people at least, they are directly out of this 140 because you meet them every day. So whether you want or not, these 20 people, they are already there, they are fit. Okay? Because you meet them. चाय पीने तो जाते हो, खाना खाने जाते हो, you keep on meeting them. So whether they are, so we are talking about a context of professional growth, right? And so engineer and how do we develop ourselves. So about 100 people are already done, which you have no control over. So you have about 30-40 people at your disposal. So that is a conscious quality decision that you have to make. Okay, so who are those? So whether it's just my neighbors or whether it's just people that I meet at workplace or whether it's someone maybe in the evening. So as I was mentioning earlier, imagine if you are a sports enthusiast and your group of cricket friends, badminton friends, then it occupies
on
another
a regular
circle.
basis you are meeting.
So it takes up that time, right? So it's a conscious journey, and then how do you arrive at that 30-40? It's a again process, it's a journey. So you'll meet few people, you realize that it's not as if they are bad people, but you realize that in terms of my professional growth, maybe they are not exactly aligned. So you kind of make them not level 1, but level 2 or 3.
Understood.
That you probably meet them once in 6 months. Okay, but someone that you figured out who are aligned with your growth, who are aligned with, who are going to make sure that you will make a progress in your career aspiration, you should keep them in level 1 or level 1A, if I can really say that. So what do I mean by that? The principle of networking is about building relationships. Okay, how do you build relationships? रोज चाय पी के नहीं होता है, right? So relationship building, how does it happen? It's a conscious effort where two people are actually sharing or maybe giving value to each other in terms of whatever it is. And so at a early career stage, probably you might be thinking, मैं क्या दे सकता हूँ, मेरे पास क्या value हो सकती है. Maybe they are 15 years in their career, whatever he will help me, I can't help them. It doesn't work like that. Value can be anything. So just consider, because you are from the maybe younger generation, probably you know a tool, probably you have learned something more about AI. So me and my wife, we were just discussing few days ago where AI is going. So she works in Dell. She is in the audience today. So she works with Dell, and the entire focus in there is about reducing workforce by bringing AI agents. Not just Dell, but every organization is going this direction. So imagine someone who is literally into this, where they actually can, with help of AI tools, they are able to replace work of 10 people. I think it's something that an experienced professional also wants to learn, because I want to learn something about that.
Correct.
So you can bring value in terms of the latest technology. You can probably bring value. You might say, हाँ AI तो एक ही है, और क्या बात कर सकता हूँ. So maybe an article that you came across, maybe someone that you met, and then it could be a very interesting person for someone to meet. Okay. So
there was one same point.
Sure.
But there was something which is showing up.
Correct.
What is happening in recent generation is they are there for 2 days, but then they are off for another 3-4 days. Again, they show up after a couple of days.
Correct.
So showing up regularly is also a value to somebody who values being that person to be available around.
Correct.
That's something which also can be a value.
So mutual value sharing,
Absolutely.
something that you are helping will build that relationship. Actually, that is the case. And so obviously, and it's mechanical, I understand that, but people that you really want to be associated with, literally put them on calendar.
Correct.
Okay. So talk to them, drop them a message, maybe meet them for a cup of tea, maybe share something with them. Just keep that, I think, touch point going. What happens most likely is we only wish them on their birthday.
Okay.
And how many people call you or wish you on your
And
birthday?
that too because social media prompts you to wish them.
Correct.
Not in a other way, right? Because you have a prompt, you get a prompt that okay, there is a birthday of this
And
person,
we just say
and
happy
then we
birthday.
say happy birthday.
Nothing else.
That's also automated now.
Correct.
So I think something which is very important you are sharing is this relationship part, which I have taken a note of it.
Correct.
So relationship is never going to be giving to someone or taking something from them. It is more to do with sharing, and at the
Correct.
same time more to give an effort to understand the person. That's
Absolutely.
what I feel.
Absolutely. And then see, as human beings, we keep on meeting different people.
Correct.
Imagine when you are traveling, there is someone interesting sitting next to you in train. And then that is a really interesting profile. Imagine they are working in, I'm just making something up, but Caterpillar, US. Okay, and they are really of your interest. You better remove someone from these 40 and add them over there. So what kind of effort would it take is to make sure, even though maybe they will go back to US, it's an effort that you have to make to be in touch with them, right? So the number is limited, and then it's a journey, as I said. So who do you want at every juncture of your professional career? I think that number, the set of people, you should always keep on moving back and forth. Who are those and where do you want to invest your time? We all have limited time. Okay, so it doesn't mean सिर्फ networking करते रहो तो काम कब करोगे? That is not the idea. Okay.
So one point of Heroes of Engineering platform was networking also. See,
Correct.
what is happening in mechanical industry, typically people have some secretive kind of profiles.
Correct.
Which is fair enough in defense or in railways kind of a domain. But typically when it goes for general engineering, people really don't want to talk about their work, or they don't feel proud enough that what I am doing is really helping the society.
Correct.
So the overall plan is to have networking. Now if we come back to this networking part, so Dunbar's number is really a great insight for me as well.
Correct.
So if it is boiling down to networking, how do you network?
Correct.
As a fresher.
Correct. So as a fresher, I think use plenty of opportunities where you will find the nearby professionals or who are working in the industry of your interest. So it could be as simple as going to exhibitions or conferences with an open mind. Okay, so just visiting stalls, not for the free t-shirt that they give you. Okay, you might have realized that, and it's fair enough. I mean,
Good to have a free t-shirt, but still.
I know, but our objective is something different, right? So maybe visit multiple stalls, see who are
Correct.
there. I'll give a real example, okay? Something that happened probably uh, 2011 or 2012 times, okay? And something interesting that happened in an exhibition. So Sakar keeps on doing these exhibitions, right? So I was visiting an exhibition and there was a stall of Nirlip, as you know, the non-stick brand. And so I was just visiting with my wife, and then we were just walking through. It was a big stall, maybe probably 4 or 5 stalls combined together. They had these product lines put together, and we were just discussing. There were some couple of salespeople, marketing people standing over there, and then there was this very old guy sitting in a chair just like that at the back. Okay. And then I was just having a conversation that where is your factory, a generic talk. And then good thing, a luck as you would have it, that marketing person said, do you want to talk to our founder owner?
Wow.
He's just sitting over there. I had never met him. Okay. And so I didn't recognize him. I said, by all means, yes. And so I got introduced to him. I was able to spend, so he was about 80 or around that time. But he was quite enthusiastic enough to talk to me. What do you do? What kind of trainings do you do? And then I was just asking him. I had heard stories like literally the original Nirle brand. He went door to door to sell those because people didn't know about it. And so it was an unbelievable exchange of about 10-12 minutes, not more than that. But see, you stumble upon people that you really
but because you showed up to that exhibition, you happened to meet a personality like that.
Exactly.
So showing up or not, or taking a courage out of your own self and going and taking some efforts.
Exactly.
Like people here are taking efforts to come down for coffee meet.
Absolutely.
That's something which is always going to be helpful for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a very good example.
And then any conference, exhibition, event that you go to, generally you know what is the theme behind it, what type of companies, what type of people are going to be there. I think little bit of homework is necessary. That imagine if I stumbled upon someone who's who. So imagine, I always share an example. You went to, maybe it's a IT tech expo or something like that. Okay, you just knew that there are going to be who's who are going to visit. So I'm just making some names up, but Azim Premji of Wipro and Mr. Narayan Murthy and all of them are going to show up. Okay, so the homework that you have to do is, if I'm going to meet such level people, then what am I going to say? Imagine you got an opportunity to sit like this with Mr. Narayan Murthy. What are you going to say? I'm a big fan. He'll say thank you and walk away. So how do you make utilization of this opportunity? You have to really think it through. Okay, we as engineers are never exposed to such kind of communications or what will happen, and most likely, and I'm very sure you all will agree, that once this conversation happens where he says thank you and walks away, 2 hours after that we feel, अरे ये पूछना चाहिए था, अरे I could have said this, I could have asked this. We always have this regret, I didn't prepare. So for an event, for an exhibition, when you are going, be prepared. If you come across such people, what are likely topics? What are you going to share? You cannot share that I am a mechanical engineer, I work with this. Well, thank you. What else they are going to say? So it's a human connection. I think that is bound to happen. So if it's Mr. Narayan Murthy, I always suggest that he is 80 plus, 85 plus probably. So you can't ask him his vision for Infosys for next 20 years. Right? Practically not a good question to ask, even though it's a professional question, right? But it's not practical question. You better ask him about maybe Infosys Foundation, maybe about his wife Sudha Murthy and her new books, maybe something that is coming up. He's more inclined to talk about this.
Or the philanthropy part, which
probably. So think about this. So go prepared. My one line, I think, pointer would be that do your homework and go prepared, whichever exhibition or whichever event that you are going to go to. Okay, so if it's super specialized AI event, at least you have to read few things and know. Otherwise you visit a stall and you have no idea what are they talking about.
Correct.
So then you don't connect with people over there. You never know, maybe the founder of the company is standing over there.
So maybe it is more to do with a homework or a study before you even attend something which is, and nowadays I think exhibitions, even we do it on our business
Correct.
development activities, that we study, understand if it's a big exhibition, are we going to go on every single stall,
Correct.
or these are the stall numbers which I am going to focus on,
Absolutely.
and I walk away because I have a flight to catch.
Absolutely.
So that is something which needs to be planned or pre-planned.
Absolutely.
That's an important
And a
aspect.
side pointer to that, imagine if you are not comfortable alone to do such kind of things, as you said, grab a friend and go together. At least you will make a better conversation.
Correct.
If you are not comfortable about it. It's okay.
Makes sense.
Sir ko pooch lena, if he wants to join, he can make any conversation. I know that. But then figure out who can you get along with. It
Yeah.
helps. It definitely helps.
Correct. Absolutely. So coming to next point, which is about same networking stuff. How do you see a mechanical engineer transforming into a technology sales kind of a professional? See, I always tell people that you have to get hang of sales even if you are in a technical side, because you still have to sell a concept to
Correct.
your customer.
Correct.
Or you still have to sell something which is there inside the team as well.
Correct.
So sales not as a profession, but sales as a skill, and the networking linked to it. So you pointed out, which we call it as elevator pitch.
Correct.
We typically call it. So how do you give a suggestion to the young engineers that sales is not just about selling a product, sales is also about selling your own idea or
Correct.
selling your own skills to somebody who is in a need?
Correct.
we
So,
can
couple of situations that I will talk about. Okay. So, even if you are, as he rightly said, even if you are purely in technical field, you still have to sell a concept. It's more to do with probably the audience that you are going to connect in such scenario is they come from technical background, and so probably there is a common point which connects you is what level of understanding that you have. So it takes a little different direction in terms of, so making a human connection is all about sales.
Correct.
Okay.
That's true.
So whichever that topic is, so most important part behind this is understanding the audience that you are going to work with. So if it's a technical pitch, you start talking technical because they understand, you make a connection and the conversation continue. If it's, imagine 12th standard students, you cannot talk technology because they will not understand, they will go to sleep. So rather you talk about all of you, what is relevant to you. Maybe in sitting systems as an example, have you traveled in a car? Which car is most comfortable to sit into? So it's very easy to answer, and they start finding relevance to it. So you connected with an audience. Okay, so purely from audience point of view, so in fact I have one copyrighted framework of communication some other day. I'll talk about it. It's called as captive communications. Okay, you can visit my LinkedIn, it's there. Okay, but captive communication, one of the important parts is audience.
Correct.
The other part is context. So I'll just go through it. So okay, so context, audience, purpose, the time sensitivity, the interaction that you can have, the value addition that you can do, and final E is engagement. It's the framework basically built onto that. Okay, because I'm a trainer, one of my friends.
So that's an innovation of process innovation, we can call it, or
absolutely,
which you have done yourself after your own learnings and findings.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Brilliant.
And so the success story is because one of my networks, she recommended, she is a corporate lawyer, she recommended you should copyright it. I was just using it like that. She said, have you copyrighted it? I said, I have no idea whether it even can be copyrighted. She said, no, I'll do it for you. See, that's a benefit of having the right kind of people in your network.
Absolutely.
Right? So coming back, so sales can have different aspects to it. Even earlier, as I was saying, technical sales or technical marketing would require not just the technical aspect of it, but the human element, as I was mentioning. Making the human connection makes any sort of sale successful, always. Okay? And so, going little bit into the psychology part of it, connecting at emotional level, whichever way the emotions connect. Okay? So, I'll share a very interesting, what stops us as an engineers from making that connection. Okay? And so my American boss used to say this story all the time. Okay, he said that Americans speak in donuts and Indians speak in jalebis. Okay, and so I said, what do you mean? And so that conversation went like this. So he said that if I ask you a question whether this would be done, by today 5 p.m. I expect yes or no answer.
Binary answer.
The Americans will give answer no, and I will walk away because I just had to report to someone. The Indians, if they have to say no, they will have a long story attached to it. So no didn't come first. They said, will it be done by 5 p.m.? Sir, it is possible if this had happened last time. Yesterday I was working on something. Whether it's yes or no, I still didn't get my answer. And then that is a problem. In sales, if you start rambling, if you start making, I think it's one of our education system's fault, as we say, the theory papers that we write. What happens over there is, even if you remember 1 or 2 points, we can fill up 5 pages of stuff, right? And it has kind of crept into us that 1 point you can talk as much time as you can. Ideally, it shouldn't happen. When you become a professional, you become crisp, precise. You don't dance around anything. Okay, so important point in sales is be crisp and precise. If someone asks a question, by all means, they have
Correct.
given you permission to explain something.
Correct.
But not beyond that. So maybe in your mind, so the captive that I was mentioning earlier, the time sensitivity of communication. When someone is sitting next to you, they just want a 2-minute or a 5-minute understanding of what you are trying to pitch to me as your product, service, or whatever that you are. In their mind, the time is ticking. I have only 5 minutes. They are not saying it, I have 5 minutes. So you have to really be precise onto that. Imagine out of 5 minutes, you just spend 4 minutes talking about how you have developed it. It doesn't help.
Correct.
Right? So be very precise. If the questions are likely to come in, you make it interesting, likely there will be questions. They'll say, no, I want to understand in detail. Meet me tomorrow. We'll set up 1-hour meeting. Then you got your opportunity. So be precise on how you are going to position it. Okay, so this is something that I think as our education system, it doesn't teach us all those things.
Yeah.
And the other side to it, I think all the MBA graduates that you might have come across, they have मराठीत आपली म्हण असते ना की उथळ पाण्याला खळखळाट पारत. They'll talk so much, but there is little substance. And I know I'm generalizing, but I think it's an experience that talks about it. Right? Correct. And certain profiles, certain job roles require them to be eloquent like that. Okay, it is necessary. And those are the people you will realize that they have biggest of networks because they connect at different levels. It's just like throwing 10 balls on a wall and hoping something sticks. They are very good at that.
Correct.
And so something sticks with someone and then they become part of their network. So they will always have bigger network to go with. Okay. So anyway, we have to find the balance. It's the technology as well as the people skills, the human connection that you have to make. I think it's one of the most important parts of it. Yeah. And finally, it all boils down to, I think I just briefly mentioned it earlier. I always position it like that so it's easier to remember. Okay. So I always position it like that. So what's the most popular radio channel?
Radio Mirchi.
No. So it's WIIFM. Okay.
Okay.
It's not really a radio channel. It's what's in it for me.
Oh.
Okay. But it's easier to remember now, right? So what's in it for me? When you are making a conversation, in my mind, that's the first question. What's in it for me? We are talking about your achievements, awards, and so what's in it for me? Nothing. So I say thank you so much and walk away.
Correct.
So what's in it for me? You better answer that. Even in interviews, I always mention that. In interviews, typically you might have seen the first question is introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
And people talk so much about what has happened, what has been done, and all of that. So, make kya karu uska? Matlab, you turn it around. It's still your achievement, but you turn it around in such a way that it's a. So, as you have mentioned, imagine if I say something like, as you have mentioned in your job description or the posting that you have, you need someone who is resourceful, innovative, and technically competent. Recently, I won an award, which was an innovation award. See, it connects. So what's in it for me is what you mentioned. I exactly
so
have
you
that.
did a homework and went there, and then you have made that kind of a connection at human level.
That's what exactly. So remember, what's in it for me? That's the most popular radio channel. When you start communicating like that, you will make great networks. Great networks.
That's super insight about networking. Last point about networking is, in your last, let's say, we also met in a networking group, right? So our introduction was also through a networking group. And what are the three, I can say, achievements you have as far as building a strong network is concerned in last maybe 12, 14, 15
Building
years?
a strong network. Okay. So I am part
Or
of
your achievements, personally, what you achieved after building a strong network.
Correct. So I'm a part of a network called BNI. I
Correct.
think, I don't know. You might have already visited. A couple others might have as well. It's a global organization, and so for almost 11 plus years, I'm a member of that. So it has a big, I think you can say, influence on me in
Influence
terms
and
of it has taught me a lot. So, but through that, I have built multiple networks. So even not just Pune, Maharashtra, but beyond that, I have built certain networks. And it has taught me, in fact, how to, so what's in it for me obviously is there, but more importantly on my own business, and it could be for professionals as well. How do you actually explain what you do in very simplistic terms,
Correct.
which others can understand as well? Okay.
And remember.
Exactly. So the keywords, if I can just simply throw in, most of the people have their own goggle that they wear. So I always share an example. Imagine a CA. What do they do? We say
Accounting.
taxes.
Yeah, taxes,
Accounting.
accounting.
But that's the extent of it, what we know. And we wear that goggle. I know everything what CA does. CA does probably 200 more services that we have no idea.
We don't have it.
So as CA, they have to break down their business. So something similar that you have to do. You have to make a simple connection so that others understand what you exactly do. It helps. So I'll give a real example. So the ARI work that I was talking about over here, I got it because people now understand that I can do 100% Marathi trainings. Okay. That is an outcome I learned from my network. That something that you have to position yourself nicely.
So going hyper local, and that's what is something.
It's not the only thing that I do,
Correct.
but my network told me that you are very good in Marathi, which very rarely few people or trainers can do it. It became one of the, so it's one of the success stories that I can share. Okay. Another one probably I can talk about is the network I have built. So probably I have met these people 8 years, 10 years ago. And then because the relationship that was built over there, now they are at who's who position wherever they are. And they invite you as a speaker, as an author, as a trainer, different things that I did. So during lockdown, in fact, as you know, many of us were figuring out what to do. So I was approached by Institute of Cost Accountants, CMA. It's called as CMA Institute. So I was approached by their past president, and they were writing a book or a monologue for Indian markets and how it would be useful. It was for global audiences. I have written 5 chapters into that book. But because of network, right? So they said this is the person who can really write on that. So Indian business culture, I wrote a big chapter on that, and starting with Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, and then the entire story flowed into that. And so it's something because they believe that I can do a good job. So I wrote 4 more chapters after that and all of that. It's something I really consider to be a great success
direct
story.
Achievement from whatever
network,
you achieved,
purely.
something which you were also not knowing that I can do it.
Absolutely.
And that's something which was a discovery.
Absolutely. So success stories like that, they keep on happening all the time. It's because of network, the time you invested, and I always say not time you spend, but it's the time you invested. Investment always has a return to it. We always say ROI, right? Return on investment. So think about it as an investment rather than time spent. So when it's an investment, you put time, effort, money, whatever it is into that, even that preparatory time, as I was mentioning.
Because you are focused on the outcome.
Exactly.
Rather than what you are spending right now.
Exactly.
And if the outcome is a bigger part of it,
absolutely,
then I think you will not have a reluctance to spending.
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
Perfect, Ashish. So we are coming to a last winding session now.
Sure.
And couple of questions, and then we'll wind up. Quickly, how important is self-learning in the early years of career? You touched upon it, but when it comes to speed at which you should learn,
correct,
are there any tips, maybe tips related to psychology, that how I should learn fast?
Correct. So one simple thing is obviously someone who has been there, done that, should be the first starting point. Okay. So they will give you the shortcuts to doing anything rather than you reinventing everything. So imagine as simple as I want to learn something. So what are the courses that I should join? What really helps? And you do all the research behind it. It takes you a lot of time. So rather than someone who has done it earlier, they would have done all of those things. So rather learn from them. So it's a good idea to be go over there. Or someone who is in your similar profile, similar position, similar aspirations, even as a matter of fact, they would be the right people to guide you because they have similar aspirations. So they would have already figured out. So I spend 20 hours doing it, but you should not. In 10 hours, this can be done. So we hear about it in all, I think, competitive exams.
Correct.
Why do they run all these classes? Because they have figured out the shortcuts.
They have figured out a shortcut. Absolutely.
So something like that. The principle still applies. Someone who resonates with your aspirations, someone who is really in the similar field. Okay, just brainstorm with them, just pick their brain, they will give you the shortest possible path to do it. You never know, in fact, because they are ahead of you. So every year they can in fact give you the right direction on what's next, what's coming up. I have already started doing this, why don't you do it as well? Okay,
correct.
So self-learning 100%, it never stops even at this juncture.
Absolutely.
For you and me. We both know that the learning never stops. Okay, keep on updating, keep on upgrading. Even networking is something that I think you have to learn. It's not natural.
Correct.
There is no course on networking, so as to say, right? So self-learning should start with, I think, someone who is in the similar profile, similar aspiration.
So first is identify who is in a similar profile.
Correct.
Where I want to go.
Correct.
And what he has done, he or she has done.
Correct.
To make sure it is fast.
And absolutely, you don't have to agree with 100% what they do.
Correct.
But you will still have an informed decision that you will make. They would have thought in a particular way. You say, I agree 90%, but 10% it doesn't, my goal is little different. You tune it to that. It's okay. But majority preparation will be shared with you, ready-made.
Correct. And the last question, and then I have 3 rapid fire questions to you, so be ready. If someone feels stuck early in their career, what should they do first?
What should they do first?
First.
Okay. So I think introspection.
First is, before that I can even ask how one should figure out that they are stuck in their career.
Okay. See, stuck in career is not about only salary or position. Okay. And it can be. That is, generally people look at it like that. So salary is maybe growing by only 4% or 5% each year. I'm not getting enough recognition for my effort. Or the role for last 3-4 years I am still at junior engineer or whatever that role is. Okay, that is one way to look at it. But the second way to look at it is, I think the previous question that you asked, I think for all of us as engineers, we have that hunger over here. Okay. So stuck means that I'm just doing the same task, same job,
repetitive tasks
every single year. Okay, and there is nothing that is growing. There is, and it could be because you are a process oriented company where there is very little opportunity.
Correct.
It could be like that. Okay, but इसीलिए again with apologies to no offense to any government agency, but we don't want to be same chair for 25 years. I really don't think any engineer wants that to happen.
And especially this new generation being exposed to such a different things, they really don't want to do same repeat thing year and year over again.
And they will be replaced. That is another thing, right? AI is exactly doing that these days, right? So repetitive manual tasks, AI is going to replace all of that. So I think stuck in career is really about, I think, your own growth, own development, whether you are moving in the right direction. What is your goal? Are you moving or making some progress towards that? And certain times it could happen that you have, as I was mentioning earlier, you could have different priorities at that moment. So it's okay. Maybe this year is not the year to experiment much.
Understood.
Stuck is fine. It's okay. You can even take that call. Okay. Maybe some health emergency at home. Or maybe you have shifted or your family has shifted from one place to another.
So you don't want to have another turbulence which will disturb all your professional and personal and finances especially.
Exactly.
So that's
summary of this would be, I think, instead of saying stuck as in my boss is giving me same work or my salary is same, I think you should take a bigger picture look all the time. And I think even earlier I was mentioning that I am a big proponent of that at regular intervals you should be doing some sort of self audit, which gives you a lot of clarity and direction. So similar
maybe we can plan for proper invested, I will not say paid, but invested workshop for students
Sure.
where they can, students and professionals, where they can actually have a hands-on this kind of a Excel sheet.
Correct.
That prepare your own Excel sheet where you are going to have your own understanding or audit.
Correct.
As you
So
mentioned.
qualitative and quantitative. So
Correct.
even that to that Excel sheet we can put some percentages, weightages, and we can
Correct.
arrive at the right decision as well.
Yeah.
So decision making
And
is all
it can
about
be different for students, for early professionals, and for
Absolutely.
somebody with 5+ years experience.
that. Absolutely.
It's going to be all different because the risk mitigation is going to change.
Absolutely.
So that's
Agree.
a very good idea which we can come up with. All right, ready for rapid fire?
Sure.
Only 3 questions.
Okay.
One skill every fresher should learn first.
I think quick learning. Quick learning.
Perfect. So quick learning is the
Yes.
first learning which
Yes.
we should
Absolutely.
have. One habit to stop right away.
I didn't get that question.
One
What?
habit which
Acha,
one
they should stop.
They should
They
stop
should
right away.
stop. I think getting influenced by social media around you.
Wow,
I strongly think so.
powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one, the most common mistake new joinees make.
Losing confidence. Losing confidence in
Getting
their
overwhelmed
abilities.
or getting
overwhelmed,
overwhelmed?
but more importantly, putting yourselves down because
Oh.
I couldn't do it, and it's
So is it, if I just want an elaboration there, is it more to do with failure related fear?
agreed. And see, they don't realize that everyone goes through the same challenge. They feel I can't do it, where everyone is in the same boat. So losing self-confidence because I couldn't do it, it's the reality of life that they have to understand.
Wow.
I really
So I really want to thank Preeti for coming up with these 3 questions because that's going to give a lot of insights to new generation that okay, this is something which I need to not focus on and focus on.
correct.
Thank you very much, Ashish.
Thank you.
That stops our regular segment, but as I mentioned, this is a live recording and with live audience. So for those who are watching on YouTube, this is the end of segment. But for those who are live here available, they will have a segment which is question answer with Ashish. So
Yes.
you guys are now open to have any questions thrown at Ashish's side.
They are speaking.